Alright, so hello, it's Andy Anarchist, and we're coming back with a video that pertains to me in my times recently. I will make a video later about what's been going on because it's been, I can't talk about it right now. Let's just say that. But let's talk about having NPD, Narcissistic Personality Disorder. Did I say Andy Anarchist? Oh my god, that hasn't been my username in years. Whatever. I'm keeping it in. Whatever. Narcangel. The reason I renamed myself Narcangel years ago anyway was because I found out I have NPD, Narcissistic Personality Disorder. And for a long time, I was not diagnosed, but I'm a very introspective person. So I knew it. And how I found out was I used to want to be a psychologist, and I heard about narcissistic personality disorder, and I was like, I want to learn about these people. I like to learn about other people's experiences, and I was going on to, diagnosed narcissist, experiences and their symptoms and what they go through just on a daily basis, and I was like, this isn't normal human experiences. It was like if I looked up and everyone around me just ripped their faces off and they had just had alien faces. Like, my whole world was, flipped upside down. But it gave me some clarity. It made me realize, why I was the way I was. Because I always knew something was wrong. I knew something was going on, but I didn't know what it was. For a long time, I thought I had bipolar disorder because of the, the mood swings. But what I learned was those weren't mood swings. They were, how I perceived myself. I'm not reading, a script or a bullet point list. I'm kind of just rambling right now. But, it was, ego and, how I saw myself. And, I was like, holy shit, this makes sense. And I was seeing a counselor who couldn't diagnose me with anything officially, but she could, kind of, guide me in the right direction. And for a while, she misdiagnosed me with DPD, Dependent Personality Disorder. And if you know anything about DPD, those people, how I would describe it, and I'm not a psychologist, so definitely do your own research, but how I understand DPD is those people are very, they're part of the anxiety cluster of personality disorders, and they attach to a person the same way a child would to an adult, or they basically have someone they follow, and they expect to look after them. They can't, even as adults, they can't really leave the house, and I do experience symptoms of that, but I do think it is linked to my BPD and my NPD. And so I brought this up to her, and she's like, yeah, that makes sense. I was like, why am I telling you this? I'm the patient. But, and I had a friend in person who had ASPD, Antisocial Personality Disorder, which is similar to NPD. And I talked to him about it, and he was like, yeah, I actually kind of thought you might have been a narcissist, but I didn't think it was my place to tell you. And I was like, okay, that feels validating, because I've been so used to people just being you don't need these labels. You don't need these labels. You just be you. I'm just labels help me understand myself and what I'm going through. So, but, and recently, due to the job I have a little bit more privilege to get those medical needs. And I will talk about this later when I'm able to. But I got diagnosed with NPD, and I was and it was funny because the doctor was just yeah, you have that. I was like, I've known for 4 years now. Yeah, no shit. But it was validating, and now that I'm officially diagnosed, I can get the help that I need. But it felt good, and even though I know what's going on, it's still very hard because, I've known since 2022, and once I found out, I was okay, I know, but, where do I go from here? And it just really hurt because, I would get into these, how it works for me, at least, and I don't think I've met any narcissists. I probably have, but I didn't know, but, I don't really know anyone who's been open to me, so I don't know how it manifests for them. I don't know how it works for them. So I'm speaking my own experiences. For me, I will go from feeling euphoric to not just normal happy, which I want normal happy, but instead I'll go all the way up here. I feel like I'm God. I feel like I'm unstoppable. I feel amazing, but I get scared when I feel these ways because if I feel so good right now, how bad is it going to be when I crash? And if any of you have experienced a narc crash, you know it fucking sucks. Like, you'll mess up in the most, like, the littlest of ways. And, like, nobody, and sometimes people won't even make you feel bad for it. Like, other people won't, like, berate you, but in your head, like, you just make yourself feel like the biggest piece of shit ever. Like, I will mess up in front of my coworkers, and I'll just be like, God, I deserve to die. That was so embarrassing. This, and this. I'm just like, why do I hold myself to these standards but nobody else? And, it's just hard when you have, like, a little voice in your head that's just like, you need to be perfect, and, like, you gotta realize you're not perfect and you never will be, and you don't need to live up to these standards. And, another thing is, I don't just have NPD, I also have borderline personality disorder, and when you have, the more personality disorders you have, obviously they feed into each other. And, I kind of figured I had borderline for, like, a while. I just, again, wasn't officially diagnosed, but, like, I definitely obsess over people in my childhood. I was very unhealthily obsessed with somebody in school, and it took me a long time to unpack by myself that he was not in the right, but I also definitely was not a victim either, because what I did was not okay, and I never became dangerous or anything like that, but it's just, what I was doing was not normal or okay, and I don't know how I flew under the radar. Like, I never was institutionalized, I never was put anywhere, when I definitely should have been. I was being very concerning, and I just wish people paid more attention to that, but yeah. And lately my BPD symptoms have been coming up a lot more. Like, you know, I have my favorite person, and when they don't, like, pay attention to me, I'm like, fuck, what if they hate me, I'm just like, I need to take a step back and remember that other people are their own people. And part of my NPD is I lack empathy, which doesn't mean I treat people badly on purpose. I just don't understand other people. Like, it's sometimes in conversations it's hard to navigate, because I'm just like, I don't know how they'll respond to this, and I'll mess up and I'll make them feel bad, but that's how I learn. I'm like, okay, they responded poorly to this, so I'm gonna, if anything, how I see my unempathy is it kind of helps me a little bit more, because I try to be as kind to people as possible and just hope for the best. I'm like, I don't know how they'll react, so I'm just gonna be the kindest I can be. And part of that, though, is I have a hard time seeing other people the same level as me. I have a hard time, like as a child, before I knew this, I would have online friends, and I'd be texting them and be like, oh my God, like, why aren't they responding? Why aren't they must hate me. Like, what did I do? Did I do something wrong? No, they just had, like, their own stuff going on. They have a life outside of the fucking Discord chat we had, but I couldn't wrap my head around that. And now that I'm aware of it, I definitely have a better time with it. But sometimes I catch myself still being like, oh my God, my friend, like, in real life, my friend's like, oh, they must hate me, they're not responding to me. Come to find out, that friend I was trying to contact was also going through his own issues. And I'm just like, hey, I'm not the only one suffering in this world, and I gotta remember that. And it's a process, you know? And I'm just really thankful that I found this out about myself very young. I just turned 20, like, a couple weeks ago. And I'm very glad that I found this out earlier in life as opposed to later, because who knows what kind of person I would have ended up if I learned later, or, like, how many people I would have ended up hurting, you know? And it's never intentional. Like, when I was a kid, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just going off of my own mentally ill instincts, you know? And I'm just like, oh, that's why I did those things. That's why I just acted the way I did. So, yeah, that's my experience with NPD. And I wouldn't say that I hate it. I don't hate having it, honestly, because it just makes me who I am, you know? Like, I wouldn't be me without it. Like, that's the difference between personality disorders and, like, other disorders, in my opinion. It's like, it's part of you. And even though it sucks and, like, what I went through, it wasn't okay, I wouldn't be me without it. So it's just one of those things you gotta, like, live and go on with it. So I hope you enjoyed my random ramble for the first time in months, but comment your experiences if you have NPD. And this conversation is open to transabled people, because I love transabled people. So if you have trans or tris NPD, you are loved here, and nobody should be able to say anything other anything else to you. In my opinion, if you hate trans-abled people, you just have really internalized ableism. Because being disabled isn't always fucking rain clouds and thunder. It's not always sunshine and rainbows either. It's just a way of living. So, my trans and NPD people, I love you. And if I could give you some of my NPD, I would. Bye.